in 700 million. That's not a transfer fee. That's not a salary. That's the amount of money at stake in the most explosive legal war football has ever seen. And what I'm about to reveal will change everything you think you know about Kylian Mbappe's departure from PSG. There's a secret document, an alleged agreement, a promise that was either broken or never existed at all. Before I expose the lie that could destroy one of the biggest reputations in football, smash that subscribe button on Cyberboot. Because in the next 8 minutes, you're about to witness a betrayal so calculated, so ruthless, that it makes the Neymar saga look like a friendly handshake. Someone is lying. And the French courts are about to expose who. Welcome back to Cyberboot, where we don't just report football news, we dissect it, analyze it, and expose the truth that mainstream media won't touch. Today's story isn't about goals, assists, or trophies. This is about power, deception, and the ugliest divorce in modern football history. Kylian Mbappé versus Paris Saint-Germain. On the surface, this looks simple. A superstar player left his hometown club on a free transfer to join Real Madrid. It happens. Players move. Contracts expire. That's football. But what if I told you that behind that amicable departure lies a web of alleged harassment, hidden agreements, and accusations so severe that both parties are now demanding hundreds of millions in damages? What if I told you that PSG claims Mbappé lied to them for an entire year, costing them a $300 million transfer fee? And what if I told you that Mbappé claims PSG psychologically tortured him, exiled him from the team, and destroyed his mental health, all because he exercised his legal right not to renew his contract? This isn't a transfer saga. This is a legal nuclear war, and the fallout could reshape how football clubs treat their superstars forever. Let's break down the battlefield. To understand this war, we need to go back to the moment everything collapsed. Summer 2023. Kylian Mbappé is entering the final year of his contract at PSG. He's the face of the club, the golden boy of French football, and arguably the most valuable player on the planet. PSG's owners, Qatar Sports Investments, have built their entire project around him. They've spent billions assembling super teams. They've chased the Champions League obsessively. And Mbappé is the centerpiece. But there's a problem. Mbappé has a clause in his contract, an extension option. If he activates it, he stays until 2025. If he doesn't, he becomes a free agent in June 2024. In the summer of 2023, Mbappé informs PSG, "I'm not activating the extension. I'm leaving next year as a free agent." Now, here's where it gets interesting. PSG claims they didn't know this was coming. They claim Mbappé had been telling them, privately behind closed doors, that he would renew or at least agree to a transfer so the club could recoup a fee. According to PSG's legal filings, Mbappé concealed his true intentions for nearly a year. From July 2022 to June 2023, he allegedly led the club to believe he would either stay or leave for a transfer fee. And then, in July 2023, the ultimate betrayal. Al-Hilal, the Saudi club, offers PSG $300 million for Mbappé. A world record fee, financial salvation. PSG agrees. They tell Mbappé, "Go to Saudi Arabia, take the money. Let us recoup our investment." And Mbappé says, no. He refuses the transfer. He refuses to negotiate with Al-Hilal. He says he's staying for one more year, then leaving for free to Real Madrid. Here's my first question for you, and I want you to answer this in the comments. If you were PSG and a player cost you a $300 million transfer fee by refusing to move, would you feel betrayed, or is this just business? Drop your answer below. I'm reading every single comment. What happened next is where this story turns from a contract dispute into something far darker. PSG's response was swift and brutal. Mbappé was removed from the first team squad. He was excluded from the pre-season tour to Asia. He was banned from training with his teammates, the players he'd won titles with, the players he called brothers. Instead, he was forced to train with the club's fringe players, reserves, youth team call-ups, players who would never feature in PSG's plans. This practice has a name in French football: lofting. It's when a club isolates a player, pushes them to the margins, makes their professional life so miserable that they either agree to the club's demands or leave. And PSG didn't just isolate Mbappé physically. According to his legal team, the club launched a systematic campaign of psychological pressure. His image rights were disputed, his bonus payments were withheld, his relationship with the coaching staff was poisoned. And all of this was happening while the media circus raged around him, with PSG-friendly journalists publishing stories painting Mbappé as greedy, disloyal, and ungrateful. Mbappe's lawyers now argue this constitutes moral harassment under French labor law, a serious accusation that, if proven, could expose PSG to massive damages. But here's where the twist comes in. PSG claims they had every right to do this. Why? Because of a secret agreement. According to PSG's legal filings, Mbappé signed a document in August 2023, just after refusing the Saudi offer, where he agreed to forfeit certain bonuses and salary payments if he left on a free transfer. This agreement, PSG says, was designed to protect the club financially. If Mbappé was going to cost them a transfer fee, he would at least compensate them by reducing his wages. But Mbappe's legal team says this agreement never existed. They claim PSG is fabricating evidence. They say no such document was ever signed. Someone is lying, and the French Labour Court is about to decide who. Here's my second question for you. Do you believe this secret agreement exists, or is PSG inventing it to justify their treatment of Mbappé? Comment your answer. Let's debate this. Now let's break down the actual legal claims, because this is where the staggering numbers come into play. First, unpaid wages and bonuses. Mbappé is claiming that PSG owes him significant salary and performance bonuses from the final months of his contract. The exact figure hasn't been publicly disclosed, but sources estimate it's in the tens of millions. Second, moral harassment damages. Under French labor law, if an employer creates a hostile work environment that damages an employee's mental health, they can be held liable for substantial compensation. Mbappé's team is arguing that the Lofting, the exclusion, and the public smear campaign constitute illegal harassment. Third, and this is the nuclear option, contract reclassification. Mbappé's lawyers are attempting to have his fixed-term contract legally reclassified as a permanent contract. Why does this matter? Under French law, if a fixed-term contract is deemed to have been used improperly, essentially if the employer treated it like a permanent position, the courts can reclassify it. And if they do, the employee is entitled to severance pay, damages for unfair dismissal, and additional compensation. If Mbappé wins this argument, PSG could owe him over 100 million in severance alone. Now PSG isn't taking this lying down. Their counterclaim is even bigger. First, lost transfer fee damages. PSG argues that Mbappe's deception cost them the Al-Hilal deal. $300 million gone because Mbappé concealed his intentions. They're claiming the full value of that lost transfer as damages. Second, breach of the alleged August 2023 agreement. If PSG can prove this document exists, they claim Mbappé owes them the wages and bonuses he was supposed to forfeit, estimated at $80 million. Third, reputational damage. PSG is arguing that this entire public dispute has harmed their brand, their ability to attract future talent, and their standing in world football. They're seeking additional damages for this harm. Add it all up, and we're looking at over $700 million in potential damages and claims. To put that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of some small nations. That's enough money to buy Jude Bellingham, Erling Haaland, and Vinicius Jr. And still have change left over. This isn't just a contract dispute. This is financial warfare. So where does the truth lie? Let's examine the evidence from both sides. PSG's case. PSG has WhatsApp messages, emails, and meeting records that they claim show Mbappé promising to either renew or facilitate a transfer. They have testimony from club executives who say Mbappé told them directly, "I won't leave you for free." They have the Al-Hilal offer, documented, verified, $300 million on the table. And they have Mbappe's refusal, which they argue proves he was acting in bad faith. And most critically, they claim to have the August 2023 agreement, signed, witnessed, legally binding. Mbappe's case. Mbappe's legal team has medical records documenting the psychological toll of the Lofting period. They have witness testimony from teammates and staff about his exclusion. They have his contract, which clearly states he had the right to decline the extension option and leave as a free agent. No obligation to renew, no obligation to accept a transfer. And they categorically deny the existence of the August agreement. They claim PSG cannot produce a valid signed document because it doesn't exist. One side is telling the truth, the other is lying. And the French Labour Court, which heard arguments recently, will deliver its verdict in the coming weeks. Final question for you before we wrap up. Who do you believe? Is Mbappé a victim of club harassment, or is he a diva who cost PSG $300 million? Comment your verdict below. This is your courtroom. Regardless of who wins, this case will change football forever. If Mbappé wins, it sets a precedent that clubs cannot punish players for exercising their contractual rights. It means lofting and psychological pressure tactics become legally actionable. It means player power reaches a new peak. If PSG wins, it sends a message that players owe clubs a duty of good faith in contract negotiations. It means concealing your intentions, refusing reasonable transfers, and costing clubs massive fees can result in hundreds of millions in damages. But here's the real tragedy. This case proves that modern football has become so financialized, so corporate, so detached from the sport itself, that a player and a club can spend years in court fighting over sums of money that could fund entire nations. Mbappé is now at Real Madrid, living his childhood dream. PSG has moved on, building a new project around other stars. But the war rages on. And when the verdict comes, one side will be vindicated, and the other will be exposed as the villain in the ugliest divorce football has ever seen. So there you have it. The complete breakdown of the $700 million war between Kylian Mbappé and Paris Saint-Germain. Before you go, I need 3 things from you. Hit that subscribe button on Cyberboot right now. We're the only channel that goes this deep, this detailed, and this fearless with football's biggest stories. The mainstream media gives you headlines. We give you the truth. Smash that like button if you think this legal battle is absolutely insane. Your engagement tells YouTube that people care about real football analysis, not just highlight compilations. Get in the comments and answer those 3 questions I asked. Would you feel betrayed if you were PSG? Does the secret agreement exist, or is PSG lying? Who's the villain, Mbappé or PSG? I'm reading every comment. This is a community, not just a channel. Let's debate, discuss, and uncover the truth together. The verdict is coming soon. And when it drops, Cyberboot will be here to break it down, analyze every detail, and expose what it means for the future of football. Until then, stay informed, stay critical, and never accept the narrative at face value. Because in modern football, the biggest battles aren't fought on the pitch anymore. They're fought in courtrooms, where the truth costs $700 million. This has been Cyberboot. I'll see you in the next one.